Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to your lesson on writing a character description. Have you enjoyed the book so far? I said it was really good, didn't I? Let's begin. Okay, so today you're going to be using evidence from the text to explore the different characters, Uncle B and Pa. You're going to be exploring contrasting descriptions of characters, and you're going to be using a checklist to help you. Okay, so what does Pa think of Uncle B? Now today, I haven't given you a video for the story, I've actually given you the story to read. So I need you to read chapter 6 and 7 before we begin this part. If you haven't done that, you'll need to do that now. If you have done it, then let's continue. So I have some questions here that you're going to find the evidence in the text. Can you discuss the answers from these questions by looking at the start of chapter 6? Okay, so my first question is, what is meant by full of himself and munchy meat? My second question is, what does Pa think his neighbour has come to talk about when he first hears his voice? And my third question is, what does Pa think of Uncle B up until the end of page 49? I need you to pause the video here and have a go at answering these questions on your worksheet now. Welcome back. Should we compare answers? Brilliant, let's do that. So let me show you my answers. Okay, what is meant by full of himself and munchy meat? Well, I've said that Pa is full of himself because he's really pleased with himself for acquiring a good meal. He's full of munchy meat because he's eaten all of the neighbour's dog food because the neighbour was not there when Pa went next door to explore. What does Pa think his neighbour has come to talk about when he first hears his voice? Well, Pa's a little bit worried, isn't he? Because Pa has just been over there and eaten all of his food. So he thinks that he's coming to complain or even perhaps start a fight about Pa stealing his dog food. Did you get that answer too? Brilliant. Now, what does Pa think of Uncle B up until the end of page 49? Well, Pa doesn't like the look of him. He thinks that Uncle B is looking for a fight. And he thinks he's been nosy. Did you find that part as well? He's being nosy in what they're talking about, and he growls at him that it's a family matter. Pa doesn't want to talk to Uncle B at all. He wants him to go away. I think that Pa might be feeling a little bit guilty about eating his food. What do you think? Let's continue. So now we're going to hot seat Pa, all about Uncle B. Okay, we're going to ask him some questions about what he thinks of his neighbour. Okay, and these are the questions that we're going to ask Pa. Right, are you ready? Let's go. What did you think about that? Right. So, when Pa finds out how kind his neighbour has been to Max, his opinion changes of him. Now, what I want you to do is look at chapter 6 and 7, so the sheets that you have, and gather all the information that you can about Uncle B as a character. Now, once you've done that, if you have time, go back to the end of chapter 5 as well. And I want you to gather some evidence from there. And I want you to write all your evidence on the next part of your sheet. You need to pause the video here and you need to have a go at that now. Off you go. Welcome back. How did you get on? I bet you came up with some amazing ideas there. Well done. Okay. Now, when we think about Uncle B's actions, thoughts and feelings, these are some of my ideas. Let's see if you had the same. When he was asking about Max, he seemed a little bit embarrassed, didn't he? And then he really helped Max by advising him how to get home. Also, his actions where he caught lots of food in the park, so he didn't really miss that food that Pa had eaten. Now, he knows that Pa is stealing his dog food because in the text it says that he looks at Pa with a glint in his eye. And it shows that he's a really caring person because he came to visit 5A twice to ask about Max. That shows that he's worried about Max. That shows that he is caring and thoughtful. He's also really kind because he asked the hedgehogs to play in his garden. He wanted to make sure that they felt welcome there. And he really admires Max's spirit. Now, his personality, he's very polite, isn't he? Because he says, excuse me to Ma and Pa. And he's very helpful, which is what we talked about earlier, because he helped Max when he was lost. He's kind and he's also aware of other people's feelings because he tells Ma and Pa to not worry. And he's quite easygoing, he's quite laid back. He doesn't confront Pa about the missing dog food, even though he knows that it's Pa that's eating it. And also, he might be a little bit lonely because he lives all by himself. He doesn't have any children or a wife. But he's really fond of children. That means he likes children. And he's really caring because he came to check on Max. And he's very wise because he advises Max on his research. And what we know about his background and his past is that he lives alone at 5B and he's never married. Now, Max is quite puzzled, isn't he, when he comes back after being in the park and being hit on the head by the door of the telephone box. And he's confused as to why the neighbour's been talked about affectionately and that it's not, and that he's even been named Uncle B. He can really see that his father's views on the neighbour have certainly changed. Should we hot seat Pa again and find out why his views have changed? Let's do it.